I don't know if I can do this. I just don't know if I can do this. I'm over halfway and I'm absolutely exhausted. So the challenge is simple. Can I get my Tesla to go all the way to Orlando, Florida, only using Electrify America? Let's find out. So we've got our trip loaded in. We have the Tesla fully charged up to the current battery range is about 285 miles. We have our navigation loaded into the Tesla. We also are going to run a better route planner, so that way it routes to the Electrify America charging stations, and then we're going to use the Tesla CCS1 adapter to charge. We'll keep track of all the stats, all of the charging costs, all of the times. Right now, a better route planner, that's a mouthful, is showing about 17 to 18 hours, and Google Maps is showing 14 hours, which is completely unrealistic because you got to stop for at least gas, or in this case to charge, or you stretch your legs. And then Tesla is just showing the entire trip. So here I'm going to kind of zoom out and show you what we're looking at here from a trip standpoint. So we've got our destination loaded in. It has our first charging stop in London, Kentucky, Adairsville, and Cordell, Lake City. And then we get all the way to the Orlando airport and we get to Reunion. I think the important thing to note is that we are not going to be using the Tesla trip on the way down, but this would just give you an idea as to what it would be. So about 3 to 4 stops is what we're looking at to charge, and we'll go from there. So overall, pretty excited about this. We're going to see if we can drive straight through. If we need to, we'll stop, catch some sleep. We have some relatives along the way if we need to stop. Otherwise, looking forward to a fun trip. We're going to keep you updated along the whole way. Anyways, we'll see you, and let's get on the road. Well, hey, we're on our trip here, so let's give you a little bit of some of the stats and some of the things that we're going to be doing. We're driving a 2022 Tesla Model Y Performance. We have 19-inch OEM Tesla Gemini wheels with the Aero hubcaps. The goal is to just run the speed limit, so we're not here to break any land speed records. We're simply going to get there safely. We're going to use autopilot or full self-driving on the entire way. So overall, the trip should go pretty well. We're going to use only Electrify America. We're going to stop whenever a better route planner tells us to. Right now, with the temperatures being colder, the car is having to heat the battery up a little bit more. So right now, after the first, 11 miles, we've been running about 315 watt hours per mile. So that's a lot more than usual than what we typically use during the summer months. Usually run about 260 watt hours per mile. So overall, hopefully the trip goes well, and hopefully using Electrify America is a good idea and not a bad one. So we'll keep you posted as we go along. So next stop that we have is about, about an hour and a half away, and it has us charging for only about 6 or 7 minutes, just enough to get to Williamsburg. So we'll see what our consumption is and what we arrive with to determine if we need to stop in Williamsburg or if we can just go ahead and go past and drive straight to Williamsburg, Kentucky. So overall, looking forward to a good trip. It's a beautiful day. Really no traffic so far. The skies are out, the sun's out, so it couldn't be a better day from a weather standpoint. We are going across the mighty Ohio River. It's always something fun to cross a border. And here you see a clear view of our electricity generation on the Ohio River. Doesn't look that clean to me, but what do I know? Good thing is our watt hours per mile have come down to about 280, so much better consumption as we go along our trip. And the GPS has us routing around the west side of Cincinnati. which is good. So we miss all of the traffic on 75. So we'll come in, pick up 71, and then pick up back on 75. So hopefully miss all of the traffic that we traditionally have going through downtown Cincinnati, especially since it is 5 o'clock right now p.m. on a Friday, which is a busy travel day. So we decided to stop a little bit early. We're stopping here at the Electrify America. We're here at 10 and we need to charge up to 76%. So let's go ahead and get plugged in and see how it goes. Well, I finally got plugged in here at the Electrify America. Had a little bit of an issue with the app, but it says not working, error, unplug, but it's charging. So I'll go over and show you what we're getting so far. So it's go ahead and starting to charge. We need to charge up to about 79%. So overall, going well. I've got the preheater going. So overall, we've got the Tesla charging here. Let's take a look and see what we're pulling. It's not real great because we're at a pretty high state of charge, but overall, charging up. And let's see what we... So it looks like we're pulling about 38 kilowatts an hour. And I'm going to go ahead and go inside. Facilities here at the Walmart. Overall clean station. I just met a owner. Can kind of see him over there in the Ionic 5. He's got about 1,000 miles and said he loves it. So he was jealous though that we got to use both the Tesla and the Electrify America charging infrastructure. So nice guy. All right, we'll see you in a little bit.
I've recently found the Tessie app and found it's really useful to use. Here you can see the drives that we've done, the Hamilton down to Georgetown. You see the electricity cost, fuel cost, average speed, max speed, elevation gain, 220 feet, how much battery we used. And this is what's really interesting is you see that our efficiency is over 90%. So we're still actually burning more energy to go than what the EPA rating is. And then a variety of other stats that can kind of give you a little bit of insight into how you're driving and overall how the trip is going, but really helpful to use. There's also a variety of other features that you can kind of click and go into, such as tire pressure, climate. You can actually control, schedule, and operate the vehicle as a whole.
Well, it looks like we've been here about 13 minutes, about $3 worth. So we're going to go ahead and stop. And we're going to go ahead and unplug and keep going on our way. Well, hey, we're at our second Electrify America charging station. We got here with exactly 61 miles or 21%. To put that in perspective, we ran about 91% efficiency. Gonna go ahead and use the Tesla CCS adapter and go get this plugged in, and we'll see what kind of currents we draw. Be back in a second.
So this trip, we went from Georgetown to Berea. You can see the average speed here again, 66. Pretty nominal elevation gain, 19% battery. And you'll see here about 91% efficiency. Again, the cold has really taken a big hit. We stopped in Berea to get some food, and so that's why it's broken into two different sections. So here, let me show you the other portion, so you can kind of get an idea of the different stats. So again, average speed, really the same, max speed, elevation gain, huge elevation gain there at the end. But again, 83% efficiency. Just the cold, the speed, and just trying to keep the cabin warm is really wreaking havoc on the overall efficiency of this trip.
Well, it looks like we're initiating charging, hearing some clicking. We're gonna work. And it looks like we're going. So it looks like, let's take a look at our pricing here. So we're charging. Let's see what we're pulling inside. And of course, charging stopped. Let's go out and see if we can get it to go again. So we're trying for the second time. We moved over one of the stalls. We're at a 350 kilowatt charger. This is my name. I'm hearing clicking. So let's see if we can pick up a charge. It looks like we're charging. Let's go inside and see. Got the green light, hearing the fans going. Let's go inside and see what we're pulling. let's see, we're ramping up here. $97 miles an hour, so it is slowly ramping up. So let's just take a look at our trip while this gets up and going. So we've got about 202 miles. We've used 62 kilowatts. So this last leg of the trip, we averaged about 301 kilowatt hours per mile. So to put that in perspective, that's about 91% efficiency. So not real great. And it looks like we're charging up here pretty slow, but we'll kind of see what happens and what we charge up to. I'm hearing the car start to warm itself up. So we're gonna go stretch our legs and check out the incredible Walmart facilities. But no one's here at the charger, so. And I'm hearing the cooling start to kick up. But we are still sitting at about 85 miles an hour, so still pretty slow in my opinion. And this is a 350 kilowatt charger, so not real impressed, only pulling 23 kilowatts. So, all right, well, let's go stretch our legs, see what happens. We'll be back and update in a little bit. Well, we've been here 9 minutes, 9 whole minutes, and we've got exactly 5.2 kilowatts delivered. This is way too slow. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this charging session and move over to the other charger on the end and see if we can get a little bit faster charge. So we've tried the two 350 kilowatt chargers. Neither one wouldn't even activate. The second one is charging still at about 28 kilowatts. So at this rate, it would take us about an hour and 10 minutes to get up to 80%, which is what we need to do to get to our next leg. Way too long, so let's move over one and see what we can do. Well, we activated, we're charging, and it's actually working. So let's recap. Charger 3, 350 kilowatt charger, won't activate. Charger 2, 350 kilowatt charger, would only cap out at about 28 kilowatt hours. So we're on the 150 kilowatt cabinet, plugged in, activated. Let's see what we're pulling. This is much more like it. Running at about 111 kilowatts, finally charging up. This will take a lot less time. Right now we've got about 30 minutes left to charge. So far, EA is 2 for 4. So 2 for 4 EA, not very good. Well, we're still picking up a little bit more kilowatts, charging at about 415, 20 miles an hour. So we'll update here a little bit later when we roll out with total charging cost, and we'll let you know when we're on our way. Well, we finally got to about 80%. Let's take a look at our stats and we'll go ahead and unplug. $6.71. We're going to go ahead and hit stop and we'll unplug. So overall, pretty quick charge, 29 minutes, a little bit faster than we had anticipated, but still not as fast as the 350 kilowatts. Come on, EA, let's do better. All right, we're on to our next stop. We've got to go to Ottawa, Tennessee, and I'll give you the number of miles here in a second, and we'll head out. All right, we're getting ready to head out. We're heading out to Ottawa, Tennessee, which is our next stop. It's about 158 miles from here. We have exactly 81%, and we should get there with 23. We've got to go over the pass, down into Knoxville, and then on our way. So let's get on the road. Well, we made it to the charger here in Ottawa, Tennessee. All the chargers are available. There's only 2 350 watt chargers, and of course one of them was unavailable, and the lighting was such that I couldn't quite figure out. So let's just take a look at some of our stats real quick and see what our... Since our last charge, we have gone right at 160 miles. Using about 306 watt hours per mile, so not a real great trip, but let's go ahead and get plugged in here and then we'll share some of our efficiency. Quick activation and we are up and running. Let's go inside and see what we're pulling. Much better than when we started the last time. So we're pulling about 160 kilowatts an hour and still climbing. We'll see if we peak above 161.
So let's take a look at the Tessie app and see how we went from Williamsburg to Sweetwater, Tennessee. You can see our average speed. We pretty much flat elevation with the big movement over the pass. That took a lot of energy. We used about 44% of the battery. And you see here we went about 87% from an efficiency standpoint, 304 watt hours per mile. So still pretty heavy on the consumption or usage. And I think a lot of this has to do with the cold, the exterior temperature, as well as the speed that we're running. So you can see here it's 35 degrees. And while the temperature is climbing, it still impacted the overall range of our trip. When we left Williamsburg, we stopped to get a few things out. And you see here where the efficiency got actually worse. And even though we stopped on the side of the road, got a few things out, our watt hours per mile went up. So again, cold, speed, all impact the available range of the car. So there you go.
So we're just here charging at the Electrify America. I checked, we averaged anywhere between 75 and 82% efficiency, so really bad in terms of efficiency. The temps are around 35 degrees. But we did bump the speed up a little bit and took advantage of the wide open roads. So overall, it looks like we peaked at about 181 kilowatts right now, and we're sitting at 27%. And let's just take a look at our trip and see what we need to get to make it to our next destination, which I've got loaded in the Tesla navigation. So not real sure why it took the Tesla navigation so long. So right now, it's calculating that we're going to get to Stockbridge with minus 12%, and we're currently sitting at 36%. So we need to be at least at 48%, 50% just to get there with zero charge. And so we're going to leave here at about 60%, 65% to get there with about 15% battery. So that should give us plenty of juice to get to our next destination. There are also a couple of other charges along the way that if we need to, we can stop earlier and take advantage of that. But overall, just going to get some shut-eye for a few minutes and keep driving. It's about 12:36 a.m. We'll see you a little bit more. Well, we've hit the 10% mark where we'll get to our destination with about our next charging stop in Stockbridge, Georgia at the next Electrify America station. I'm going to go ahead and unplug and we'll get on down the road. We're going to stop and get a little bit of coffee, but let's show you how you unplug from EA. So we're going to hit stop. You can see here, this cost us $5.28, so pretty cheap. I'm going to go over here and hit this button. This unlatches. And then I simply just take the adapter with me. Plug this in. Adapter comes with me. And the cord is kind of cool to the touch. So we're going to continue on our trip here. Need some coffee. It's 12:51 a.m. Pretty tired. Gonna get some coffee, stretch the legs, and then head on down the road to Stockbridge. We'll see you there. Well, we just made it into Georgia. Here's the Georgia Welcome Station. We're gonna keep rolling. The other good news is that our estimated charge arrival continues to head up, meaning we are much more efficient on this leg of the trip than we were coming down from Knoxville and over the pass there past Jellicoe. So pretty good news here. Don't expect any major surprises. We're going to go through Atlanta. We'll stop at Stockbridge, which is just on the south side of Atlanta on I-75. This is my old stomping ground where I grew up in North Georgia, so familiar roads. And while I wish I could stop and say hey to some friends, it's fun to at least go through and have a bit of a trip down memory lane. So it's about 1:17 a.m. and we should get it around 3:10 a.m. into Stockbridge, Georgia. We'll there. It's 3:15 a.m. and I'm not sure this was a good idea. Cutting it really close. Let's hope these things work. Let's see what we can do. Well, we got a nice surprise here. I hooked up the Electrify America charger to the Tesla. I didn't even have to initiate in the app, and looks like I'm getting some free charging. Very cool. Thank you, Electrify America. Let's see what we're pulling inside the car here. So it looks like we're pulling about 109, 110 kilowatts right now. But it's free. Can't beat free. Thank you. So a couple of interesting things happened as we were driving through Atlanta. One, autopilot did not like the fact that we were in the HOV lane. That was very exciting. It kept trying to switch lanes out in the middle of traffic to try to change 5 or 6 lanes at a time. So we just had to take it out and just use the adaptive cruise and drive down the road. And as we were by the Atlanta airport, there all of a sudden was a giant pile of wood, fabric, probably some piece of furniture, but it looked like a hay bale, and ran over it and had a number of different thunks and clunks. So I'm going to get out and inspect the car. This is the second thing that we've had kick up, so I'm going to look around the car and see if there's any damage from either the front or along the side of the car, but hopefully not. But it looks like we've got some time to charge here. I'm going to go ahead and put in my next destination so I know how much we need to charge, and so we can make sure we arrive with just the right amount to take advantage of the faster charging at the lower state of charge. So get our next destination put in from a better route planner, and then we're going to get out and inspect the perimeter of the car and see if there's any damage from the pile of debris and the other item around the Chattanooga area that we ran over. So we'll see.
Let's take a look at the Tessie app for our trip from Ottawa down here to Stockbridge. So let's take a look at the drive here. You can see the overall average speed, max speed 80 miles an hour, elevation gain pretty nominal, a little bit of up and down, battery usage 61%, 83% efficiency. So again, we continue to just use a lot of electricity. And this has really to do with the exterior temperature, so 321 watt hours per mile, and then you'll see the exterior temperature of the vehicle. So again, the car's having to really warm the battery, warm the interior of the cabin, and that's really what is one of the big things that really is a big suck, and just batteries aren't that good. You can see there our temperature, or I should say our inflation for our tires.
I don't know if I can do this. I just don't know if I can do this. I'm over halfway and I'm absolutely exhausted.